One of the things that I love about fishing is that everyone's at different experience levels and everyone has different budgets for the fishing gear that they use. It's all about using gear that you can afford and gear that makes you feel good and that you're comfortable in using. Now, we've had lots and lots of feedback from viewers saying they'd love to see us do an episode using budget entry-level fishing gear, and that's exactly what we're going to do. So yesterday I went to our local retail store. There was a fishing rod combo there for $20. It was on special down to $15. So we've got that, and we're going to hit our local waters and just show that we can still get out there and catch a few really good fish, and why people might spend a little bit more to have that better experience. But anyway, let's get out there and let's get stuck into some cracking fish using an entry-level fishing rod combo.
Now it's going to be a short session, about 90 minutes plus out here, which should hopefully be more than enough to catch a few fish on the entry-level gear. As you can see, Werribee Pro Angler is rigged and ready. But what we will be using today is these two entry-level rods here. Let's get out and tell you a little bit more about them.
Now that water clarity is looking really nice and clean today. We pedal out probably to about 5 meters deep today. That's usually a really good depth to get stuck into some of your bread and butter species around here. It's also a great depth to avoid some of those pest species, because your banjos and your toadies and your Port Jacksons around here can be pretty relentless. So birds around, that sun is just coming up. It's time to get stuck into a few cracking fish.
Look at that, the sun has just broken the horizon. It means that we've got a beautiful start to the morning. Something really special about fishing solo on your kayak when that sun's coming up.
But let's get stuck into talking about the fishing gear. And with me, I have representing the entry-level fishing gear for those looking for a bargain on a budget is the Jarvis Walker Focus Estuary Special Combo. So this bad boy is 6'6" in length. It is a 2 to 4 kilo rod. It comes paired with a Focus 2000 spin reel that is pre-spooled with monofilament line. And because it is a spin rod, what I will be doing is just flicking soft plastics today. So that is rod number one. You will notice I've also got a second rod with me, and that's because I like to run a drifter. And again, in sticking with the theme, I've gone with something that's really entry level and on the affordable side, and I'm using my 10-year-old son's spin combo. So that is a Silstar crystal tip 1 to 3 kilo rod paired with a 2000 size spin reel and spooled with 6 pound monofilament. So basically, obviously other than the kayak, because we are in a very high-end kayak, but you've got a rod combo there worth $25, and this rod combo here was a total of $20, was 25% off, so I picked it up for $15. That means we've got a total of $40 in rods, reels, line, and everything today. So that's really sticking with the theme, and all we're gonna do is around here is just drift around, see if we can pick up a few flathead, a few pinkies, maybe a whiting, and then depending on what this swell does, we might even chase a squid or two. Oh, listen to that power. Oh. Just chuck that in there for now. So we are going to have a drifter out, so I'm just going to see which way that one is going. And then whilst I'm doing that, I've got this one here. So I said this is my 10-year-old son spin combo, and I can see the lines going that way, so that's perfect. So this is going to be the drifter, and I'm just going to throw this one over the side here. Oh, see that line just sort of curling up as you cast it out, but that's okay. I'm just going to tighten that up, tighten that drag a little bit. Okay. And then we're just going to leave that one in the rod holder. It's quite a short length, so just got to be careful with that. And then what we are going to do is we're going to work this spin rod in our hand, oh my God, and see if we can get stuck into a few fish. Right, here we go. So we've got our first fish. Yep. Oh my God, this reel. Oh, he's come off. Oh, you could feel that reel just struggling there. That was a good bite. Damn it. This is probably the flimsiest rod. It's just insane. Not sure if that's the reason why I didn't stick that fish, because it was definitely on for a little bit there, but hopefully we'll get him back. It's always good when you do get bites is to mark some waypoints and go back over that drift line. You tend to find that flathead hold the same sort of grounds, so it's a really good idea if you are getting bites, just go back and drift over that same spot and you'll probably get into a few fish. So come on, we'll get a break in these rods. Here we go, got him. Oh, he's come off again. Oh, what is going on? Damn it. So we're seeing lots of bait on the sounder now, and over the sides we're seeing bait everywhere, so this is a good sign. So generally here is when you're going to find a lot of your predatory species. Got one. Here we go. There we go. Hey, Jarvis Walker is on the board. There is your first fish of the day. So that is a beautiful flathead, just drifting over that big school of bait that was on the sounder, and you can see silver flashes everywhere. And these flatties here, what they'll do is they'll stick on the bottom and they'll get a really easy feed. And that soft plastic was pretty much just dragging on the bottom. That is one nice flathead on the board with the $15 fishing rod combo. And let's try and add a few more to that total. All right, so we've got one on the kids rod now, which is good. Listen to that little drag. And another flathead. So this one here is about the same size. All right, so there's another flatty there, beautiful little size. Not interested in keeping the legal one, so what we're going to do again is we're just going to coax him back in the water, drop that rod. He wants to stay in there. On you go, mate, come on. That's funny. He's just sitting there. See if I can encourage him out of the net. There we go. And away he goes. Oh, come on. Oh, jeez. Now I can see some birds diving in the distance. We're probably going to get a bit wet here because we're going to get some of that white water that's going to splash over the top of us, but birds diving is usually a sign of lots and lots of bait fish. You can see there's just 3 birds here and they're just going bang, diving in the water just constantly. So always worth checking out. So your visuals on the water, sounder plays a key role, obviously if you mark up schools and stuff, but obviously if you see birds diving just like that in front of me now, that's a really good sign that you want to go and check out, because it just means that there's some sign of activity there. And as I said, 90% of the time that's just going to be bait. Look at me, just dive down and dive down and dive down. But what I am going to do is I'm going to get to this spot and I'm just going to mark a waypoint for good measure. And I'm going to watch my sounder really closely, because there we go, heaps of stuff coming up on the sounder now. So obviously just massive bait balls, and these birds are just diving in, eating bait. And you'll know it's bait because they won't be holding the bottom. Typically they're going to be holding, you know, sort of mid-water section or top water. And what those birds are doing, those birds are diving down. They'll actually dive down to about 1 metre underneath the water, and they'll get a really good feed of bait fish that are in the area. But I can see now, we've now drifted back over all that bait because that sounder is just lit up. So what we want to do now is just keep a real careful eye on these rods. Work this one every 15 seconds or so with some little twitches upright, basically imitating a wounded bait fish of some sort. And we're really hoping a nice big flathead or something memorable on these entry-level rods. Come and have a go. Oh, double hook up, got one. Oh, both rods. Yep, this one stayed on, the other one did not, but this is a good fish. This is a heavy fish. This is what we wanted. Just said a second ago, drift over the bait, and this is heavy. Wow, this is really heavy. This is what we came for, guys. This is what we wanted, was to catch a good fish on this entry-level gear, and I think this is the moment. Now these drags are so, they're just so sensitive in terms of they're either in full lock or they're not. So I just got to go real slow here, because I reckon this is a good fish. And both rods went off at the same time. Oh, now I've gathered my other line here, but I'm not worried about that. Still going here. Oh, this is a huge flathead. This is a really big flathead. Oh my goodness, this is the fish that we wanted today, guys. We can just pull him up. Yeah, this is what we came for today. Yes, yes. That is a huge flatty. Yes, on the entry-level spin rod. That's what today was all about. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna quickly cast this one out because that went off. And what do you know? Right underneath the bait. It's exactly what I said. So seeing those birds busting up, and guess what? Sitting under that bait was that big flathead. And that was a lot of fun on this 2 to 4 kilo entry-level spin rod. As I said, these reels, the drags don't have that tension sensitivity that a lot of those good drags have, where you can get very, very granular on how much run you want the fish to take. It almost felt like at certain stages it was almost on full lock. It's all about proving that point that yes, you can catch fish on any type of fishing gear. Don't let anyone tell you any different. To be honest, I might even come out here on my next episode with a hand line and catch a few flatties with some gloves on and using a hand line again to really prove that point. There is your nice big flathead there. And that's what this episode is all about, just to show you that even with cheap entry-level gear, you can catch some cracking fish. That is an absolutely beautiful size, and it definitely gave that 2 to 4 kilo rod a bit of a run for its money. And the really good news is that I marked that waypoint where all that bait is, and we have drifted already. I can see we're probably about 300 or 400 meters away from that in such a short time. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull the rods in, and we're gonna get this beautiful flathead on its way and see if we can find another one.
All right, so let's have a bit of a close-up look at this fishing rod in all of its glory there. So you can see you've got the EVA grips, got the coiling there. There's your reel, so that is a Focus 2000, and that's spooled just with that monofilament that comes with it. And there's the labeling there. So Jarvis Walker Focus 6'6" spin rod, 2 to 4 kilo class, and that's what we're using today. So that's a bit of what the guides look like. So quite big plasticky guides. Oh, we're on. There we go.
All right, so we've come straight back to this spot, and on the kids' rod this time, you can see this is the little Silstar outfit. That's my son's rod. We've got another really good fish on here. Oh, this is heavy as well, and it's pulling a little bit of drag on this rod. Now I've got some really cheap 6-pound mono on here, so you can't muscle it too much, but this is another good fish. Lots of fun on this rod, I can tell you. I'm guessing this is another big flatty in exactly the same spot that we drifted over before. I'd like to land this one on this rod. Just tighten that drag just a tiny bit. That fish is just coming up now. This is even bigger. Yes, yes. The big flatties are out and about today. Not bad at all on a 10-year-old kid's $25 spin combo. A little Silstar power tip with a 2000 size reel and a Rovex airstrike. There you go, I didn't even know what it was. But again, gear like that, very capable of catching a good fish. This drift line here with all this bait is just working an absolute treat. Oh no, we've got another rod. We've got another fish on. It's gone bonkers. Sorry, Flatty, just sit there for 1 second. Oh, that was a huge hit. The rod just buckled then. So let's just keep it there because that fish might come back. And meanwhile, try and handle the fish carefully, support its belly, and obviously try and watch those spines. That is another beautiful flathead. So that is just on whatever that is. I think that rod's about 5'5" in length. It's a 1 to 3 kilo rod. It's got a 2000 size reel on there with the cheapest 6-pound monofilament that there is probably on the market. And look at that, we're catching some really good fish. It's probably more about fishing smarter than the gear, to be honest. Fishing those right areas, following the bait. Those birds are still busting up in that area, and we're still getting nibbles on both the rods here. So that is another beautiful fish. And what I think is really cool about this is now that we've got one on the Jarvis Walker Focus combo, that's the combo that cost me $15, and we've now got one on my 10-year-old son's combo. But that is a beautiful fish. Fishing locally, fishing on a budget, and fishing with some entry-level gear that is more than capable of catching some beautiful fish like that. Now there's no one around today. There is not a boat in sight. There's not another kayak in sight. So it is midweek, and that might be a test of the conditions because we know, I don't know, probably in half an hour, it's probably going to be unfishable out here because that swell is going to get up. So unresponsive, this rod. Oh goodness. Not sure how comfortable this would be casting this for hours and hours and hours. It does get a little bit heavy, and that's probably just because I'm used to fishing with the ultra light stuff. You know, I use a lot of rods that weigh less than 100 grams, and when you're casting that all day, you know, it just feels like weightless. And then when you're casting these for a bit, you do notice a big difference, that's for sure. Oh, here we go, got one. Yep, that's stuck. What do we got? It doesn't feel as big. Oh, and actually this feels good. This feels good. Oh, it's another flathead. Here we go. Oh, there we go. There's another. There you go. So there's another one on the Focus combo. All right, so there's another beautiful little flatty there. So rather than get the lip grips or the pliers in his mouth, we'll just let him go nice and gently like this. That way he can swim away and away he goes. So that's really, really awesome. So always make sure you take your time and care for the fish. I mean, it's really important to have such an awesome and sustainable ecosystem, because we're all going to play our part. Stick within the rules, stick within the limits, and especially try and handle all the fish with respect and care. So some you're going to keep and take home for a feed. Absolutely nothing wrong with that as long as you're sticking with the limits. But for everything else, just handle them with care, get them on their way nice and quickly. There is stuff absolutely everywhere on the sounder. There's my waypoint there, number 4. And guess what? The birds are busting up about 50, 100 meters in front of me. It's just exactly on that spot. Look at that. Massive congregations of bait. There's my waypoint there, number 4. And you can see in front of us, that's where the birds are busting up. The volume of bait here is just insane. Look at it. It's just, this is where I should have the underwater camera, but look at that. You can just see there's bait everywhere. It's absolutely amazing. And these are why the birds are diving. And this is why in this right spot right here, right now, we've got 4 flathead in about a minute. All right, so what I have done is I've just trimmed that 7-inch turtleback, and I've just basically used my teeth and just bitten off probably the first inch of it to really turn it into sort of like a 6-inch turtleback. I think that's just a better profile size when they're being a little bit finicky. So I'll tell you what about. Here you go. Shit. Oh, that was lucky. Salt water is never good for fishing gear, especially probably some of you more entry level stuff. We'll have to watch that really thoroughly when we get back, that one. But as I was saying, we're really hoping we'd get at least 90 minutes. Even I know when you're fishing solo on your own, you never really test the limits. Yes, the pro angler is very, very capable, can handle stuff 10 times worse than this, but it's no point. If something's to happen, I'm on my own, you're just going to get yourself into trouble. So for that, we always play on the side of caution. So I reckon we'll stick it out for a little bit. Once we start getting white water and white caps, that's usually when it's the sign to get out of here. Let's see if we can crack a few more fish before we call it a very, very early morning. Now, when I first started fishing many moons ago, I had this thought that I'd only ever need 1 or 2 rod combos, and that would cover all the different types of fishing applications that I'm doing. So it would cover a wide variety of species, and it would also cover whether you're fishing on a boat, a jet ski, a kayak, or even land-based at your jetties, piers and rock walls and so forth. But what you start to realize is, as your experience level grows, is that the manufacturers make these rods with an intended purpose. And that might be that they've got an intended species in mind or an intended type of application. There will be rods that are designed for bait fishing. There will be rods that are designed specifically for soft plastics fishing with fast action. There'll be rods that are designed specifically for fishing with lures. And then within that lure space, there's going to be rods that are designed for surface lures and cranks and vertical jigging and all this sort of stuff. And it does get a bit crazy, because you can then get to the point of going, how many rods do I need? And obviously all the rods come in different lengths and different weight classes. And what starts to happen is you start to end up buying, oh, I need a rod that's dedicated for bream fishing. I need a rod that's dedicated for soft plastics fishing for snapper. I need a rod that's dedicated for squid fishing off the rocks. I need a rod that's dedicated for targeting offshore species like tuna and kingfish. It can become very, very costly. And it can also become very, very confusing if you're new to this. And this is why gear like this is so good for a starting point. If you're going to do your bread and butter fishing, you don't have to spend a lot of money, and you can go out and get yourself something to start off with, where you can go in and start to catch some fish, and then hopefully enjoy the experience. And perhaps from that point, you might start to build up. Perhaps from that point, you might be content and you just enjoy taking entry-level gear out and catching your bread and butter species. And as I said, there's no right or wrong answer. So for me, this is a lot more than just a hobby. It's a passion, and I'm out fishing nearly every single day. And because of that, my journey has been starting with the entry-level gear like this, and then over time building up and sort of moving up the scale. And I've got some pretty cool and extravagant gear these days, so I'm pretty lucky and thankful for that. But what I have done is I've probably gone down that route of having specific rods and reels really tuned into targeting different species and different techniques of fishing. As I said, that's not for everyone, but that's my journey. That gives you a little bit of the fundamental differences between some of your, $20 entry-level combos, and then as you're moving up the stack, the reason why people spend more, because they really want to hone in on target species, they really want to hone in on a technique, they want that lightness and that comfort, and then naturally for a lot of people, that's what they end up doing. Now, if you are going to get into soft plastics fishing, and you're someone who's been using this entry-level stuff, and you're thinking that you might want to up and go to the next level, what you really want to get is something that's nice and light, something that's responsive. But if you're doing soft plastics, you definitely want something, here we go, we got one. You want something that's fast action. And what fast action means is there's not a lot of movement in the rod tip. Well, this is a nice fish.
And he will swim straight away. Look at that. There he goes there. Off you go, matey. Perfect.
Now guys, today I'm just fishing around Werribee. It's not a case of, oh, I need your secret spot to fish here. You just got to get on the drift. Go and put the hours in and find them. And then using your sounder over time, you start to establish some really good spots where you can catch consistently. As I said, we do share a lot of that information in the FishingMad members area. If you're starting out and you need some help on where to go and what to do, there's lots of helpful stuff in there. But again, there's nothing overly fancy and complicated about this. Using very, very simple gear, come straight out to 5 meters deep. We're on the drift. We're using standard soft plastics, 1/12 of an ounce jig head in size 2/0. That's it, catching some really, really good fish. So, all right, let's get back to the action. All right, so we're back on the kids' rod. This doesn't feel huge, that's just a little flatty. All right, so he's on his way. And I reckon this one here is getting a bite. Oh yeah, it is. Here we go. So, double hook up. This one's definitely a little bit bigger than this little guy that we've just let go. Alright, got him, there you go. So double hook up a flathead there. Oh, and we've got another one. My God, it's gone mental here. So that's another flathead. So obviously there's a big patch of them here, and you get a lot of the small ones that just congregate in huge numbers. So these last few flatties, certainly not big ones. Where you find those bigger models tend to stick on their own a little bit. So what I'll do, I'll just put this rod over there. Oh my God, look at this. Look at this. This is insane. We're just getting, what's that, 4 flathead in about a minute. Oh, it's a better size one. This is insane. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm just going to put him on the hatch of the yak and see if he'll calm down.
Oh, here we go. We've got a squid on. So that has taken literally about 30 seconds. And we've got on, oh, well, maybe not yet, but on the kids' rod, oh, on the kids' rod, we've got a Southern calamari. So that is on the kids' Silstar outfit, and awesome. So that's a squid. That took literally about 30 seconds. So hopefully we can find a few more, and hopefully bigger size ones. Here's like the perfect bait size. In terms of eating, it's actually the smaller ones that are the more tender and better eating, but I think we're gonna get this squid on his way.
Oh, we've got another flatty here, I'd say, and this is a good one. Listen to that reel. Yeah, nice fish. And we just got to watch that squid rod because I don't want that one going in the drink. We may need to go in. This wind is just roaring. I reckon it's jumped up to about 30k winds just in the last, yeah. Look at this. It's just like a washing machine here now. I'm not even going to worry about keeping this flathead. I'm just going to get him on his way because I think we need to get move it. So see you, buddy. Away you go. Let's put the net behind us. And I think that will call it an episode, guys. It's pretty sloppy out here. Really thank you for your company. I hope that you've enjoyed the episode. This is not about being gimmicky or comical or doing some challenges that have been done to death, because obviously lots of guys have gone out and used a lot of the entry-level rods and stuff before. This is more based on a lot of feedback from people watching the TV show, people watching the YouTube channel saying, I'd love to see you use some of the entry-level stuff, for nothing more than just proving that you can catch fish with entry-level gear. And that was really the point of today's episode, using a $15 combo and a $25 combo. And we've managed to get only one squid. Unfortunately, time permitting, I think that's been against us. But we also got in a really good bag of flathead and some really nice sizable ones. Fishing locally, stuff that beginners targeting your bread and butter species can come out and emulate without a lot of cost. That's affordable, easy to do, and get stuck into some great fishing action. That was the purpose of today. And as I said, whether you're someone who uses a $15 or $20 rod combo, or whether you're someone who uses a $1,000 combo, there's no right or wrong answer. You stick to what you're happy with. And I really wish everyone has some great fishing out there. And I look forward to seeing you on our next episode sometime soon. Take care, everyone. If you enjoyed the episode, then become a FishingMad member. It's easy to join by visiting www.fishingmad.com.au/member and gain access to an online portal that's full of helpful fishing content, including detailed workshops, fishing reports, rigging tutorials, podcasts, giveaways, competitions, maps, gear reviews, sounder training, exclusive videos, and much more. It's a great platform and helps to support everything we do at FishingMad, so become a member today.